Hello. Welcome to the Southern Bible Thumper channel. For this upload, we will be reading 2 Samuel chapter 2. And it came to pass after this that David inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall I go up into any of the cities of Judah? And the Lord said unto him, Go up. And David said, Whither shall I go up? And he said unto Hebron. So David went up thither, and his two wives also, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail, Nabal's wife the Carmelite. And his men that were with him did David bring up, every man with his household, and they dwelt in the cities of Hebron. And the men of Judah came, and there they noticed David, king over the house of Judah. And they told David, saying that the men of Jabesh Gilead were they that buried Saul. And David sent messengers unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, and said unto them, Blessed be ye of the Lord, that ye have shewed this kindness unto your Lord, even unto Saul, and have buried him. And now the Lord shew kindness and truth unto you, and I also will requite you this kindness, because ye have done this thing. Therefore now let your hands be strengthened, and be ye valiant, for your master Saul is dead, and also the house of Judah have anointed me king over them. But Abner, the son of Ner, captain of Saul's host, took Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim, and made him king over Gilead, and over the Asherites, and over Jezreel, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over all Israel. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel, and reigned 2 years. But the house of Judah followed David. And the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. And Abner, the son of Ner, and the servants of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and the servants of David went out and met together by the pool of Gibeon. And they sat down, the one on the one side of the pool, and the other on the other side of the pool. And Abner said to Joab, Let the young men now arise and play before us. And Joab said, Let them arise. Then there arose and went over by number 12 of Benjamin, which pertained to Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. And they caught every one his fellow by the head, and thrust his sword in his fellow's side. So they fell down together. Wherefore that place was called Helkath-Hazurim, which is in Gibeon. And there was a very sore battle that day, and Abner was beaten, and the men of Israel, before the servants of David. And there were 3 sons of Zeruiah there, Joab, and Abishai, and Asahel. And Asahel was as light of foot as a wild roe. And Asahel pursued after Abner, and in going he turned not to the right hand, nor to the left from following Abner. Then Abner looked behind him and said, Art thou Asahel? And he answered, I am. And Abner said to him, Turn thee aside to thy right hand or to thy left, and lay thee hold on one of the young men, and take thee his armor. But Asahel would not turn aside from following of him. And Abner said again to Asahel, Turn thee aside from following me. Wherefore should I smite thee to the ground? How then should I hold up my face to Joab thy brother? Howbeit he refused to turn aside. Wherefore Abner with the hinder end of the spear smote him under the 5th rib, that the spear came out behind him, and he fell down there and died in the same place. And it came to pass that as many as came to the place where Asahel fell down and died stood still. Joab also and Abishai pursued after Abner, and the sun went down when they were come to the hill of Amah, that lieth before Giah by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. And the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together after Abner, and became one troop, and stood on the top of En hill. Then Abner called to Joab and said, Shall the sword devour forever? Knowest thou not that it will be bitterness in the latter end? How long shall it be then, ere thou bid the people return from following their brethren? And Joab said, As God liveth, unless thou hadst spoken, surely then in the morning the people had gone up every one from following his brother. So Joab blew a trumpet, and all the people stood still and pursued after Israel no more, neither fought they any more. And Abner and his men walked all that night through the plain, and passed over Jordan, and went through all Bethron, and they came to Mahanaim. And Joab returned from following Abner, and when he had gathered all the people together, there lacked of David's servants 19 men and Asahel. But the servants of David had smitten of Benjamin and Abner's men, so that 360 men died. And they took up Asahel, and buried him in the sepulchre of his father, which was in Bethlehem. And Joab and his men went all night, and they came to Hebron at break of day. In the previous chapter, 2 Samuel chapter 1, an Amalekite man tells David that Saul and Jonathan have lost their lives. The man claims to have delivered the final blow to Saul. David has that man put to death. This chapter, 2 Samuel 2, Judah anoints David to be king over them. David sends a notice to the elders of Israel. Abner rushes to make Ishbosheth king over the rest of Israel. Saul's servants and David's servants meet at a pool and engage in a skirmish. David's team loses 20 men, while Abner loses 360 men. Summarizing 2 Samuel chapter 2. In verses 1 through 3, David asks God if he should go to Judah. And God says, yes, go to Hebron. So David and his wives and his men travel to the town Hebron. In verses 4 through 7, the men of Judah anoint David to be king over the house of Judah, or the people of Judah. When David heard that the men of Jabesh Gilead buried Saul after the kind of death he had at the end of 1 Samuel, he sends messengers to the people of Jabesh Gilead, recognizing and praising their kindness and respect, uh, a salute, thank you for giving him a decent burial. And then he also sends them a message like, I'm the new king right now. It's a notification. I'm the new king of Judah. So verses 8 through 11, Abner is the commander of Saul's army. So he was the one back in 1 Samuel when David took Saul's water jug and spear. Abner was supposed to be the one protecting Saul. And so after David took his spear and took the water, he went to a safe distance and called out to Abner because Abner is supposed to be watching him. So Abner has survived the war with the Philistines. And so in verse 8, Abner rushes to make Ishbosheth, Saul's other son, king over the rest of Israel. So David is king first. He's king of Judah first. And Abner hurries up to make this guy Ishbosheth king over the rest of Israel. So we're going to see as the chapter continues that Abner has a lot of pull when it comes to political connections. Verses 12 through 17. So this details just sounds like these guys were bored, just wanting something to do, so they fight and end each other's lives. So there were a group of servants that were escorted by Abner. There are a group of servants that are escorted by Joab. The ones who are escorted by Abner are under Ishbosheth, and the ones that are escorted by Joab are under David. They both go to a pool. Abner suggests to Joab, let them fight. That's what they meant when we look here, the King James. So it does say play before us, and I know play has other connotations, but when we measure this against the other versions, we see arise and compete, let's fight. The second way you can tell if you're not sure about a word like that, let me see if I can. Okay, so if you're not able to understand what a word means and you don't want to look it up, you can use a trick called context clues. So after the word is mentioned, read the rest of the paragraph behind it. Usually 2 or 3 sentences later, it'll make sense to you what that word means or what the word means in this sentence. Because when we look down here at verse 16, you see that they caught every fellow by the head and thrust his sword. And then when we read further, there was a sore battle. And then when we get down to the end, we see that David lost 19 men in Ashahel. But you know, David killed 303 score men. So just a small trick if you don't want to look up every single word. Measuring it against the other translations is a really good method. It's what I like to do. But the context clue can be useful. Okay, so verses 12 through 17. Abner suggests to take 12 of his men. David, take 12 of your men. Let them fight. And they grabbed each other, and all of them died. Okay, so the place at Gibeon is called Field of Swords. And we see Helkath, Hazarium, Field of Blades, Field of Swords. All right, Field of Sharp Swords. Abner's group was defeated by David's group. So there's a person called Zeruiah. This man, okay, he has 3 sons, Joab, Abishai, Asahel. Says Asahel was really fast, and he was chasing Abner. He pursued Abner relentlessly. So Abner asked, "Who is this?" And Abner warned him, "Fight someone else. Take on one of the younger men." But Asahel kept on chasing him. So Abner killed him. So he stumbled, he died. Everyone gathered around. Joab and Abishai, his 2 brothers, found out and they sought out after Abner. And then Abner shouted, "Why do we have to kill each other? He wants to be nice now after he killed, one of the young guys." Joab says, "All right." "If you didn't say anything, we would have continued pursuing you." So Joab blew the horn to end this. They went back their way. Abner left and went his own way. And then they counted the casualties. 19 men or 20 men, including Asahel, they lost their lives on David's side, but 360 men that were escorted by Abner lost their lives. So Joab and his men, which is Asahel's brother, took Asahel and buried him, and then they went back to Hebron. That is what we have for 2 Samuel chapter 2. Thank you for clicking on the video. I love you. Have a wonderful day.